What is up everybody, Animac here for AnimeUproar, and welcome to our Attack on Titan chapter 108 review. In this chapter, we didn't have a lot of action, but we definitely had a lot of intrigue, so I can't wait to talk about it. And if you've been watching our reviews for the last several chapters, my brother Gozen was handling those reviews. We sometimes switch out depending on what projects we're working on. But Gozen will pop in at the end of this video to share some of your comments from social media. Also, recently we organized a Create Your Own My Hero Academia character contest here on the channel, where we asked you guys to submit ideas for a new character within the world of Boku no Hero. A character with their own unique quirk and backstory. After over 1,000 submissions, we chose the winner live during our weekly podcast Rant Cafe, and we paid a professional artist to bring the winning design to life. Synchro by Gravity Falls. This first contest was so successful that we are going to launch another one this week, but this time something tells me that the contest will be about creating your own Attack on Titan character. And more specifically, creating your own Titan shifter with its own unique appearance, powers, and abilities. Now of course, those of us who read the manga know who the 9 Titan shifters are, but if there were 10 and you could design the 10th, what would he or she look like and what would be his or her power? To participate in this contest, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at AnimeUproar, and we will announce all the details soon. Just like last time, the winning design will be brought to life by a professional artist. And of course, if you enjoyed the Attack on Titan content on this channel, if you like these reviews, be sure to leave a like to let me know. And if you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and colossal smash that notification bell. Now, as the chapter starts off, we see that Pixis and the garrison appear to have betrayed Eren and the Survey Corps by going behind their back and detaining all of the volunteers who came from Marley to fight for Paradise. This is my impression anyway. I feel like the garrison is working behind the back of the Survey Corps. I don't think they were aware of exactly what was happening. And I think that the reason why Levi and some of the members of the Survey Corps took Zeke into the Titan Forest was most likely to keep him out of the hands of the military, although they still wanted to be on a terrain that would be advantageous to them in case Zeke decided to stab them in the back. To be honest, betrayals are realistic and happen all the time in war and politics, and Attack on Titan is great at reminding us of that. During the conversation between the soldiers, you can definitely see where the garrison soldiers are coming from. They now know that the power of the founding Titan can manipulate their memories, so basically their entire lives can in theory be controlled by a totalitarian ruler if that ruler has royal blood and the founding Titan power. From this perspective, it makes perfect sense for the soldiers to be worried and for them to want to be extra careful about who they trust with such incredible power. They just don't know Zeke well enough to trust him, and since he has royal blood, he could definitely become a massive threat to everyone who is a subject of Ymir, because if he gets the founding Titan power, he could manipulate all of their memories. Moving on to Historia. She seems to have gotten pregnant willingly at this particular time, but what is the reason? Was it really to avoid becoming a Titan or to save Zeke from being eaten, as some of the members of the garrison seem to believe? Or did Historia decide to get pregnant at this specific time because she believes that having a royal heir as soon as possible is the best strategy? And is the story of who the father is even true? I couldn't help but think this while I was reading the chapter, but how convenient is it that the father just happens to be a completely harmless nobody, just someone from Historia's childhood who wouldn't draw any attention by the military or anyone else, someone who is not a threat to anyone. From what we see, Historia definitely doesn't seem very happy in her interactions with the alleged father, so is he the true father, or is there more going on here? Could it be that Historia is working together with Eren and Zeke on a secret plan that the military doesn't know about? The military sure doesn't seem to trust Historia, so is it possible that she doesn't trust them either? Now, we don't actually know this to be the case, but I was thinking, what if having both parents have royal blood means that the child that they produce will be even more powerful as a Titan? Could it be that maybe Zeke and Historia have gotten together, quite literally, to give the islanders the strongest possible ruler in the future? That could be interesting, although I'm not necessarily betting on it. And another thing that I was thinking is, could the entire pregnancy be false and Historia is only pretending to be pregnant in order to keep the army from forcing her to eat Zeke? I don't know if anyone from the military actually physically examined Historia, or if they are just taking her word for it that she's pregnant. So could she be faking that she's pregnant just to advance some plan? Or could she be pregnant but with someone else's child and we don't know the true father? Or is this guy from her childhood really the father and there's nothing more to the story? Historia's whole attitude towards this definitely makes me doubtful. She doesn't seem at all happy to be with this guy from her childhood, but she decided to have children with him. It seems a little bit strange. At any rate, this is all shaping up to be a very interesting episode of the Mori show, so we'll have to stick around and find out what happens next. And speaking of potential secret plans, what are Eren and Zeke's true intentions, and how will they work together to harness the founding Titan? Even Eren's closest friends are unsure about Eren and why he is so committed to Zeke's plan, to the point that he decided to act on his own with the mission to Marley. And some of Eren's closest friends, including Connie, seem to think that Eren is not who he once was, that he changed. And this could be a consequence of consuming more Titan powers, and with them the memories of many other people. Not to mention that the scene in which Hanji saw Eren talking to himself in the mirror could be a sign that all the different memories jumbled up inside him are having a negative psychological effect on him and changing him, as Gozen mentioned in the previous video. Mikasa, of course, believes that Eren is doing what he has to do for them, his closest friends, because they are the people who are the most precious to him in the entire world. But the question remains, after consuming more Titan powers, is Eren the same person that he once was? The military doesn't seem to trust him, and they seem to have betrayed him and Zeke by putting their own plans into motion. But on top of that, we see that even among Eren's closest friends, there are doubts about whether he can still be trusted. Armin wants to confirm Eren's true intentions and prove that Eren is still on their side, as does Mikasa, of course. But others, including Connie and Jean, are having serious doubts. On the international scene, the nation of Hizuru seems only interested in the resources on Paradise and wants to manipulate the islanders for their own benefit. They want the Eldians on Paradise to demonstrate their power to the world by using some of the Wall Titans, which would of course make the whole world scared of them, and this would mean that Hizuru is the only nation able to access Paradise and communicate with other nations on behalf of Paradise. Hizuru wants a monopoly on all the resources and trade with the island, and I think that they also want Mikasa in order to legitimize their own regime with their own people. So they seem to be mostly interested in just using Paradise as a pawn for their own interests. Members of the Survey Corps seem to have figured this out and have been looking for an alternative solution in recent years. A way to show the world that they want peace. Otherwise, they fear that the island is going to have a war forced upon them and that they will be forced to use the Wall Titans even if they don't want to. I really like this harsh reality that the islanders are facing because this is exactly what international politics looks like. There are no genuine friends and allies in international politics. There are only interests, and every nation is always trying to exploit the other nations in order to gain the most for themselves. As a student of politics, including international relations, I have to say that Attack on Titan has one of the most mature, nuanced, and realistic perspectives on politics that I've seen in any manga. We then see that Gabi and Falco entered a wooded area to hide after escaping from prison. When Falco tries to take off Gabi's Eldian armband, telling her that she's drawing too much attention to herself if she keeps it on, she actually resists, saying that she is a good Eldian and taking off the armband will mean that she will become the same as the so-called devils on the island. And as annoyed as we all are with Gabi's self-hatred and masochistic behavior, we have to remember that she is still just a child who was brainwashed her whole life to believe this propaganda. I mean, just look at how long it took Reiner to realize that things weren't right and that he was being lied to. With that said, we are definitely seeing the story progress towards Gabi understanding the truth. Falco points out that the guard Gabi attacked in order to make their escape was genuinely concerned about her well-being, and while on the run they meet a girl who kindly offers them food even though they are complete strangers. These types of occurrences are definitely going to humanize the islanders for Gabi and Falco, and it is clear that Falco already seems to understand that the islanders are not the terrible people that they were made out to be. Some theories are already popping up and stating that the girl who finds Falco and Gabi in the woods is the same girl that Sasha rescued from a Titan years ago, and that through this girl, Gabi will ultimately realize that Sasha and many of the other islanders are actually good people. Knowing Isayama, this is definitely possible because for him, everything always connects in the end. In the final scene, we learn that the Marleyan army knows that Zeke faked his death and that he has been secretly working against Marley for years. The plan is to assemble a massive army of allied nations who all witness the horrific power of the Titans at the festival and to attack the island within 6 months, implementing a scorched earth policy, meaning destroying everything and everyone. But Reiner is determined to act sooner because he thinks Zeke will be planning something before 6 months have passed. But also probably because he knows that Falco and Gabby will likely be killed in a scorched earth attack. Gabby and Falco have little to no value for Marley now, so unless there is a rescue operation before the big attack, Gabby and Falco are probably as good as dead. But beyond that, we know that Reiner knows the truth about the Islanders and that he is sick of fighting, so we can't just assume that he is suddenly back to being a committed warrior. He might have his own plan to stop the war and the killing of so many innocent people, a plan that may or may not involve Eren and Zeke, and that is why he insists on going to the island as soon as possible. But let me know what you guys think. Is Eren still the same person, or did consuming the Titan powers change him just like every member of the royal family seems to change after they inherit the founding Titan and suddenly they accept the 145th King's ideology? Also, what exactly are Eren and Zeke planning, and are Eren's friends going to betray him? Finally, do you think that Reiner is really back to being a committed warrior of Marley, or is he planning something else? Let me know down in the comments. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at AnimeUproar to participate in the Create Your Own Attack on Titan character contest.
Thanks, Animac, and now goes in here with some of your predictions from last chapter. So a number of you on Instagram guessed that we'd get to find out who Historia's baby's father is, and in this chapter they did in fact reveal who the father is, at least if we believe that we are being told the truth. On Twitter, Ghost Stalker predicted we'd catch up with Gabby and Falco, and we definitely did. I actually thought that that scene was pretty significant. You never know with Gabby, but the fact that Falco tore off her armband seems to symbolize that she will not be as brainwashed from this point forward. That armband symbolized the prejudice and internalized racism that they faced in Marley. So the fact that it's been removed, even though it was against Gabby's will, seems to foreshadow her making progress and starting to see that the Islanders are not that different from her. I mean, she even says that if she loses the armband, she will become like the devils of the island. So on some level, she realizes that clearly there isn't that much of a difference between a good Eldian and an evil Eldian if one armband is all that's separating them. Plus, she didn't kill that innocent girl with a rock, which is definitely progress for Gabby. Next, Ghost Stalker again, but this time he traveled the vast internet in order to leave a message on our Instagram, asks, what is the biggest mystery that me and Animac want to know about in Attack on Titan? Which is a great question, by the way. For Animac, he is most curious about how Ymir, the first Ymir, actually got her Titan powers. For me, right now, I'm really curious about how Kruger was able to mention Mikasa and Armin before they were born. I am fascinated by this apparent ability that allows the Attack Titan user, and perhaps other Titan users, to get glimpses into the future. I definitely want to see how that will be explained in future chapters and how it might come to play in the story. And the bonus one is one that I hear from you guys a lot in the comments. What would happen if all 9 Titan powers were in one person? I am really curious about this, and I know a lot of you are as well. If you have any theories about any of these mysteries, definitely leave them below in the comments. I really like this question, so feel free to leave us more questions to answer on this video's Instagram or Twitter post, and we may address them in the next chapter review. Anyways guys, that's it for this video. As always, thanks so much for watching and supporting this channel. It means a lot to us. If you like this video, give it a colossal Warhammer smash. If you haven't, subscribe and ring that bell to join the notification Nakama. Until next time, see you, Space Cowboys.